Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2+1. Introducing our Brood War Zerg in the red with the classic drones. It's true. And another former StarCraft 2 pro player with the StarCraft 2 Terran SCVs. In the blue, it's Supernova. We're on Oceanborn and we're playing StarCraft Evolution Complete, SC Evo for short. The game mode taking Korea and hopefully soon the world by multiple flavors of Psionic Storm, combining StarCraft 2 with StarCraft 1 in a competitive environment that even GSL and ASL will be picking up momentarily. So if you're a fan of either of those games, it'd be awesome if you could like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,314 likes on this video, on this cast. And we'll take a trip through history again. And maybe a few more times over because I'm having so much fun with this. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get a little bit better. True's already got a lair on the way, which means we don't have much time to explain. But StarCraft Evo takes the Brood War races, Zerg, Terran, Protoss. Didn't really need to list them, but here we are. And essentially slaps them down in the StarCraft 2 engine. The StarCraft 2 races, well, they're the ones you know and complain about on a daily basis. So those are essentially the current balance patch exactly the same. But while some admissions have been made, believe it or not, we don't force the Brood War races to start with just 4 workers, but instead they start with 12. There's a lot of tweaks. You can select more than 12 units at a time, but the tech tree is intact. And the race that I think is most affected by it, not just emotionally, as queens can fly again, but in general, is Zerg. I've finally played a little bit, and yes, Defilers. Now, as a non-Brood War player, I didn't play Brood War until after playing some StarCraft 2. But what I have to say is, Defilers are pretty good, and Queens are arguably better. But a Spire on the way to start. As true, since the Queens are more of a high-tech spellcaster sort of unit, the only way to get extra larvae and get extra units is going to be build more hatcheries. So macro hatches are just general production for Brood War Zerg. The Reaper comes in, the Zerglings rip it to shreds. Wow. That Reaper wandering right in to the Speedlings here. Did he see the Spire? I believe he did with the Reaper. And behind it, Supernova is opting for SC2 mech. Cyclones on the way. The wannabe Goliath. And an armory as well. Creep colony out in front. Could become a sunken colony or a spore colony. So, spine crawler or spore crawler, very close equivalents. Hellions kind of chilling on the edge of the creep. Creep not as critical as it is in StarCraft 2, though you do get a speed boost benefit, which I'm not sure if that's a split from Brood War or not. But since we have just a little bit of downtime, you can find the way to play in the description. And look forward to the GSL versus ASL, StarCraft 2 versus StarCraft 1 Pro League show match. Apparently $4,000 going to be on the line about a week after you see this video. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Whichever team has TY is definitely going to be having a significant advantage. But Mutas on the way out. Macro hatch, double Evo. Those Mutas, wow, they're so thick. They fly relatively slow. I'm not sure how they compare to SC2 Mutas. I don't think they... well, they're Scourge. I'm thinking about Scourge right now. I should be thinking about the Mutas themselves. I swear those are larger than the SC2 Mutas. I'm not here to judge, alright? But 3 Mutas, enough to get Supernova to stay turtled up in his base. Does he even have an engineering bay? He does. He's got turrets. Behind it, True doesn't seem to have any interest in building any more Mutas. These are just the distractics here, just to force out the anti-air. In fact, the Thor is on the way, taking this very seriously. But I don't think True is going to be building any more past this point. At least not in the near future. Does he realize it's back? Doesn't seem so. Overlord taken down. Cyclones lock on, knock it out. Hellions will be dealt with. Well, if the Mutas can fly... So Hellions are slightly faster than the Mutas, but if they trip up on one of these little rocks here, then the Mutas will get them. Well, still chasing. Maybe a little too far. Hello? Alright, the Cyclones will zone out a scan. sees a whole lot of nothing. It's a bit of an optimist. I'm not sure what he thought he was going to see here, but missed the mark with the scan. There's muscular augments on the way. Hydra speed. Yes, it is the roach speed icon, but Hydra speed. A bunch of Zerglings. Wait, are those Hydras or Zerglings? Oh my god. A little model in the production tab. I'm 95% sure those are Hydras. Oh yeah, there we are. Mm-hmm. So small and so slow without that speed upgrade. It's a 50% increase. But those Hydras much cheaper, much closer to a combination of a smaller queen from StarCraft 2 and roaches, as well as a tier 1 unit, since of course roaches do not exist. And queens can still fly. Much to their, well, we'll see how that goes. +1 on the way. A remarkably passive game. I think what's happening is a lot of players on either side kind of not sure how the interactions are going to go, and it's a lot easier to sit back and build up an army you think is going to win in the later game than it is to try to take trades that may go horribly for you. So not that surprised to see Supernova sitting back. Got his modern siege tanks, Hellbats, and Cyclones. Just full-on mech. Blue Flame is on the way. Meanwhile, True has the Queen's Nest in production, which unlocks Hive Tech, and the Queens themselves, Ventral Sacs for the Overlords, allowing them to transport units, though probably going to need Overlord speed as well. You can only upgrade off of the Lair or the Hive, where the tech is, as opposed to StarCraft 2, where you can just upgrade anywhere. I think the Hive Mind got a little more advanced after the Brood War. But even more Hydras on the way. There are 27 Hydras on the field. But the Hellions able to avoid a lot of them. Not that much damage from the Hydras themselves. Going to be hunted down to the back. Try to kill any amount of drones, but True's at 84 drones. He's banking up plenty of money. And 6 queens! 6 queens on the way. Now, queens in the Brood War have several abilities. They got Parasite, which infests a unit, and until that unit dies, it provides vision all around. The only way to stop it is to kill the unit. I'm pretty sure it works on buildings as well. They've also got Infest Command Center, which only works against Terran, which I find incredibly amusing. And then the more relevant abilities are Ensnare, which allows you to slow. It's like a very long-term fungal. Oh, hello, ladies. How are you today, Brenda? Hello, Susan. Oh my god, is that Jennifer? I haven't seen her in ages. Oh, I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. Oh my god. Oh, totally. Yes, Brenda. Yes. It is so exciting to be here. And wow, you guys look so good. I've never seen you in so many dimensions. Did you do something with your selection groups? I don't... I'm sorry. Gamete meiosis is done, allowing those queens to start with more energy and infest broodlings, which, wow, the queens are all gathering here. So many of them. Now, Brenda, I had a terrible dream that we had to walk, like these legs that we're pretending to have, that, no, Terran, we can fly. No one's going to take that away from us, okay? That's like our whole thing is flying. Why would we just, that's enough, I know. The queens coming together. And, wow, okay. 14 queens. I know Sarah was pretty crazy about it. They cost, I believe, 100. They're relatively cheap. So the Infest Broodling or Spawn Broodling ability insta-kills any ground unit and turns it into a couple broodlings. Any ground unit. Which includes Thors and siege tanks. But ghosts do seem like a rather... Well, he's got the Nova Covert Ops ghost as well. How fancy. But you do need energy for it. I believe that energy upgrade that True researched... Oh my... Everyone's here today. Wow, what a gathering we have. Just beautiful day. Okay, Brenda, that's too much. It's too much. You're laying it on too thick. This bit has gone on for too long. It's become a bite at this point. Oh, stop being clever, Sue. A scan spots the queens. And true? Well, the monarchy is gathering. There's a few Scourge in there. I'm not sure if that's intentional. He's got... I thought I saw a Scourge. Yep, there they are. A little batlings over there. And now true. And I think the key point in StarCraft 2 is the ability to select more than 12 units at a time. Which, of course, has significant implications. But the queens gathered here. They don't have enough energy, many of them, for spawn broodling. I believe it's 125. The Hydra's having a horrible go of it, trying to come up. The Muta's getting involved, but the Hydra's getting obliterated on the ramp. The queen's looking for an angle. Ghost Dangerous, just poking it one at a time. Throws out another spawn broodling, targeting the ghosts, just insta-killing them. Trying to get some EMPs, but he's staggering. A very Brood War-esque way of controlling the spellcasters. But one at a time, just melting through. The queen's taking a lot of hits, though. Many of them out of energy. And there's no easy way to regain it. Oh, my. They, yeah, they got quite a look to them, don't they? Beautiful. The Infest Broodling, so far going quite well, with Supernova losing 4 ghosts, a whole bunch of siege tanks, and another key point, much like the Brood Lords of StarCraft 2, those Broodlings draw tank fire. The fact you can insta-kill a ghost is, of course, helpful. And while the queens themselves are not detectors, remember, every Overlord is. But Overlord speed is not done. I think Ventral Sex got canceled, actually. As he meant to build a hive. Oh my god, that's so many Hydras. There are 55 Hydras, 108 drones, and 18 queens. Well, the Hydras are coming up the ramp. The siege tank's in a great position to deal with it. There's just so many Hydras. They really don't do that much damage. But the queens, on the other hand, they get one of the ghosts. There's a cloak. There's no Overlords here for detection. Not that much energy on the queens. They just go flying. The Hydras are leaning on everything in the front, though. And while they don't do much damage, there's so damn many of them. Wow, it takes multiple volleys to kill a single Hellbound. Oh, where are the queens? There's not enough energy for much more than 2 or 3. He hasn't used any ensnares yet, either. But, oh, queen's getting obliterated. Manages to target some of the tanks, and they're tanky enough. They can close the distance and infest or spawn broodlings out of many of those siege. Oh my god. I don't want to be this guy. Alright, I like to see the back and forth, the intense armies. Actually, this game was sent just to show off the queens because we needed to see queens in all their glory and all their horror. Before the accident. What accident? What are you talking about? What could go wrong? Stop breaking the fourth wall. 9 more queens on the way. 105 drones for true. Supernova struggling to get 200 supply. He's been stuck in his base, getting whittled down, 1 broodling at a time. The Thors haven't been able to go anywhere in this. I want to take this time to say we do have... no, I take it back. We don't have time for that. We may never know. +3 ranged attack and +3 carapace. A wall of turrets to try to zone out the queens, but the queens are just tanking it. Broodlings on all the tanks that... Oh my god, that's what they look like. The little locusts. In this case, the broodlings. Wow. And that's so many Hydras. 1 supply apiece. I believe the queens are 2. Did he infest the command center? I don't think it matters too much either way. With 3-3 done, the ghosts are working their way through the Hydras rather quickly. The Hydras have a lot of HP. They have almost as much HP as their StarCraft 2 counterparts. They just do way less damage. Not the ghosts, the Hydras, of course. Just getting obliterated here, but they cost almost nothing. 75.25, same price as a Roach. The ghosts racking up the kills. The queen count, 13. Just more Hydras. There aren't that many units in Brood War. Somebody told me the world was gonna roam. No. That the Zerg only has 9 units, at least base units, because you can't fit more on the larva card, which I don't think is true, but I believe they only have 9 units you can make off of larva. The technical requirements of Brood War, of course, you can morph lurkers, devourers, and guardians. Do we have a greater spire? No. So no guardians. The Thors and the mech army in general, the Hydras are just streaming through. That's so many Hydras. He's got 66 Hydras, 13 queens. The ghosts are coming forward. Ghosts a counter to much of this. A planetary goes down. True, going to expand to it. There's so much money in the bank. My god, he could just move to another planet and invade that one too. Another set of broodlings. Please infest a command center. True. You can see his supply going down and up as time goes on. He's just holding down. It looks like he's holding down the Hydra key as his units die. Supernova doesn't have remotely enough. Oh, this is more one-sided than a Mobius strip. Though I think it's a beautiful one at that. We see the queens just melting through the mech army. Supernova has actually about even army supply. So there's still a risk here of True getting all his production cut off. There's still enough queens. Okay, you need to have buildings, though. He needs to float his buildings. He's going to the corner. Wow, how much damage do broodlings then? The tank isn't even... Okay, it's being repaired. Wow, they last for... Alright, well, here come the Hydras. Meanwhile, the mech army. A single lurker on the way. And there's no detection for Supernova. Just one lurker might be enough, and he can build a lot more than one lurker. He can build about 50 more lurkers if he needs to, but the Liberator... well, the Hydras will get underneath it. They'll be able to deal with it. There's still 75 Hydras on the field. 13 queens. The mech army... If the ghosts land the EMPs, those queens have 250 energy max, though. As in Brood War, you can go up to that level. But the queens are mostly uncontested. Supernova never really... no Vikings. The ghosts never really got the EMPs. The broodlings not coming through. Queens, if they can get close enough to the Thors, desperately needs to deal with the queens. True. Supernova has 0 SCVs left. Well, there are 82 Hydralis slithering across the field. Honestly, the team colors are so strong on him, but here come the queens melting through, tries the snipes. Can the queens survive a snipe? No. The snipe should do enough damage, and they are psionic, which it does give a... Oh my god, there's so many Hydras. It's just too many. They're working their way down. The Overlord's for detection. And the classic Zerg just overruns the field. How many... He lost 220. He lost Hydras like they're Zerglings. But Supernova with no real response. No real response to the mass Hydra build. And the queens. Beautiful to see. Hopefully nothing happens to them that reduces their functionality or relegates them to being some sort of low-tier unit instead of the high-tier unit they deserve to be. But we'll see. Because our next game is actually an S-rank Terran player versus a Grandmaster Zerg. So, Brood War Terran versus Grandmaster Zerg. And we can come up with whatever names we want, but we're going to flip the script a little here, going on to Romanticide, which some of you may recognize this map. But we're going to see what this top-tier Brood War Terran is able to bring to the table against the StarCraft 2 Zerg. I gotta say, the Zerg spellcasters, and did I explain how to play the mod? I wanted to do that. That was part of what I was going to explain. But by the way, if you enjoy like and it'd be awesome if you could like and subscribe. I feel a little off casting these. I don't know all the Brood War terms. I know I know what all the things in Brood War are called. Obviously, well, hopefully I know all the things in StarCraft too. But combining them together takes a real mental effort. So if I mix up some of the abilities or names of units, or even which race I'm talking about, hopefully at least you followed along. And let me know what you want to see. I'm looking a lot forward. So I played some of it since the last cast. And my impression is, while there's a lot of early game shenanigans, and especially StarCraft 2, a lot of early game units make it very difficult for the Brood War races to compete even with that early economy. The mid and late game are actually super interesting. And I'm very interested to see how it develops and continue watching games. And if you guys are still so incredibly supportive and interested, aka watching the videos, then I'm very happy to keep casting. And maybe at some point make my way back to some Brood War casting, because I do think the game is a lot of fun. Though, I'll say it. I'm going to sound like the pleb here. But it's hard to look at for a long time. All right, I'm sorry. But it's like drinking vodka. All right? So, a little bit of it, and you're wondering why you do this to yourself. But then, enough of it, and maybe you want some more. And that's Brood War for you.
Fuck this game, man.
No.
Bullshit. Oh, it's so fucking stupid. It hurts so much.
But I hear a lot of people still very much enjoy Brood War, so. We do have... We're just going to go full tasteless on this one. We got Terran versus Zerg. We classic Brood War Terran. We saw the SCV there fighting the drone. SCVs have 60 HP. They just straight up win. In SC2, an SCV will win the fight, barely, especially if it manages to attack first. But they just have more HP in the Brood War. Alright, that's how it is. And a straight up engineering bay block. Wow. Which works in much the same way. Though I think it would be worth it to finish the NG bay if you have the opportunity, because you can just lift it off and head back across the map. It wasn't until late in the Brood War, and you can look this up. All right, fact check it. Where the Great Accident, where a massive brood of queens crashed directly into an engineering bay. And now the Terrans, unfortunately, they lost the proprietary technology to make engineering bays fly. And the queens, well, Brenda, now have a lasting and lingering trauma that, well, clearly, if they're not on the creep, forced onto the ground. Now that I look at it, I love how clearly it's the queen from Brood War. I mean, I believe we're using the campaign version of the Brood War queen. But you can see where the wings used to be. We've grown a couple more of whatever these things are in solidarity with Kerrigan because they look super cool. But Overlord on the pervert pillar. Overlord's not detectors, but serving much of a similar purpose. Is that a Wraith? A Wraith on the way. As well as Vulture Speed. No, not Widow Mines. Spider Mines. Quite yet. Wraith gonna take out the Overlord Control Tower is the choice. Likely for a dropship? There's no way this is for... there is no fusion core, but instead a science facility with an attached physics lab. The Vultures heading out. See how the Queens deal with it. Spider Mine's going to be quite a pain as the Queens... Oh, Brenda, you remember these? Oh my god, I can't believe they're back. Ugh. Dropship. A Vulture drop looks to be the choice. And with just StarCraft 2 Queens to defend, the Vultures two-shot all of the workers here. The Wraith coming in to do mostly emotional damage on the ground. It does have a real anti-air attack, but as for an anti-ground attack, it's mostly... Get off my creep! So one thing Zerg in StarCraft 2 definitely has a much greater focus on with those queens is the creep spread. The ability for the creep tumors to speed up pretty much every unit, as well as providing vision. The vultures spreading out those spider mines across the field. Overseer as well. There's no indicator of where the spider mines are until they trigger, but they can be killed. And it doesn't take much to do so. Spots the spider mine field. Yeah, only 3 queen hits to kill him. Only 20 HP apiece. Trying to drop the spider mines on top of the queens. But will be targeted. Oh, big spider mine hits. But not quite enough to kill the queens off, and of course they don't hit air. Meanwhile, vulture drop heading in. Dropship. Siege mode on the way back at home as more factories in production. Vultures. Poking. Did I lie? Do they take 3 hits? I'm not actually sure. It might be a difference in, ooh. Oh my god, the eggs! The eggs all die. The Zergling's on top of it. The Speedling's able to deal with it, but with the spider mines, just take out all the larvae, drags out a mine hit, actually just kills it outright. Siege mode is done. +1 mech weapons. Group spawns on the way for the modern Hydras. No, it's 2. Don't know exactly what happened over there. It might have been incidental spider mine fire. But the vultures are dealt with. 1 mine at the back. The range to trigger it is relatively short. So, as you can see there, more mines coming up. 16 on the field. I was wondering if the units tab would actually show it. Siege tanks out. And we've got Goliath range. I'm pretty sure... Wait, let's see. Anti-air range by 4. Which is a significant increase. Fun fact, or I guess, well, unless you're Terran, but turrets in Brood War have significantly less HP, which I learned against mutas, but those turrets only 200 HP. I believe the StarCraft 2 version has 250. Yes, because it doesn't die to a Yamato cannon, which does 240 damage. So they're quite squishy, especially against your modern Zerg. But Science Vessel on the way. Where's the science facility? Here at the Natural. We've got a couple armories spun up. And Zerg, 64 drones, Hive on the way. Those spider mines, quite a threat to the Hydra. Eats a hit. Just some Zerglings to try to drag out the minefield would likely be the easiest play. You don't really need to clear them so much as just detonate them. As they will all, unlike Widow Mines, Susan? She's been with me for 18 years! Brenda, it's okay. We'll get revenge. Thanks, Lucille. Remember when we had so many? Now is not the time. That's enough. We've done enough of this bit today. Goliath's on the way, just filling in the composition, I think. Trying to make sure he doesn't get caught off guard. So, not a queen nest, but a conventional infestation pit at the moment. Irradiate in production for the science vessels. To be able to irradiate some of those Zerg units, or even the Terran units, and melt everything nearby. 5 Vipers in production. The Queen Defiler, or the old Queen Defiler. Vulture drop into the main. 4 vultures. They are spotted. Well, diving in. The spider mines will burrow, but they work both ways. Ooh. Another mine. Ooh. Just chasing things down. They've got such a angry feel to them. They're so excited to chase down and detonate on things. Who isn't? Well, Terran taking that 4th base down the center. Zerg working on the same one, though already has the 4th base a little further north. The science vessel's joining up, providing that detection. How many comsats on the field? Looks like we have several of them. And the Hydraling, Ultralisk Cavern, in production. The spiders will be dealt with. Ooh. It's hard to tell. Well, you'll know if they detonated or if they were taken out. And the irradiate on the bridge. Oh, just melting the Hydras. A rough fight there. Oh, this tab is, Oh. Only able to get 3... I'm not sure what that was. Goliaths, maybe? Oh. Here come the Vipers, though. Drags in the science vessels. No irradiates. The Vipers still going forward, but the Goliaths with huge anti-air range. Blinding Cloud on top of the tanks. The Hydras and Lings going to be able to close the distance. Vultures to the south side. But getting a bit cornered. The Hydras overrunning those tanks, but Vultures quite a capable counter to the Hydras in any game. In fact, I think even more cost-effective here. Vipers transfused, but there's actually not much of a ground army. Same thing, though, for Terran. 128 to 143 supply, the Zerg army refilling. The spider mines continually chasing, but the vultures... Oh no! Hoisted by their own petard. Well, exploded on their own spider mine, but killed the final Hydralisk. A 40 supply lead for Zerg, but a bit misleading here because things like siege tanks are so cheap. Viper's trying to hold it together. Is there any other tech? I believe this spider mine's still going to be a capable counter to the Ultras, though the Ultras can certainly drag out much of a minefield. Terran takes the 12 o'clock. There are no planetaries, so no easy way to defend those outlying bases without already having the units in the minefield there. Overseer's Changelings. A remarkably similar style to our previous game, with very similar units, despite the, I guess, generations being shifted here, with Vultures, Science Vessels, and tanks up against the Vipers and the Hydras. The Science Vessels get dragged in, but the Irradiates melting most of the Hydras. The tanks doing the rest of the work here. The Vipers aren't enough, but Zerg still has so much production. So many siege tanks. None walled off. A real accomplishment there. Of course, the depots cannot be lowered. That technology is years in the future. Oh my god. Unleashes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comsats. Just scanning around looking for how many bases that Zerg has taken. And there is that rich Vespine base down the center. The spider mine's still out in front. Oh, a dangerous game. But the Hydras killed him in just a couple hits, so easy enough to clear those minefields. But you just have to be diligent about it. The lack of requiring overseers is probably the most difficult part here. Once the unit that is irradiated dies, the irradiate dissipates. Important to note as well, that's why it's usually a priority on those high health units, especially like Hydras. But Terran has remaxed. It's 3, 2, 1 upgrades. Yanks in a Science Vessel. Viper has to move off to the side. Blinding Cloud. Still a couple tanks on the high ground. Yanking them down. The Hydra's gonna take big bites out of them. And Terran supply dropping dramatically. Another Science Vessel. Irradiate. Some Goliaths knocking out the Vipers. 7 more Vipers on the way. What a similar game. Instead of Queens, we have the Vipers here, which aren't as direct a counter to the siege tanks, but provide a similar purpose. We haven't yet seen any Defilers, maybe in our next series. Those Hydras, those tanks. A bit squishier than their StarCraft 2 counterparts. A bit, they only cost 2 supply though. So much easier to mass them up in large numbers. The damage is, I believe, slightly less overall, even with the upgrades, and the attack speed is significantly slower. So a little bit harder to cover every angle. That's why flanking is so important, spreading out the damage, as they will just fire on the closest Zergling, if prompted. So Zerg, with plenty of money in the bank, but the gas is relatively even. Vipers refill the energy, irradiates, splits the Hydras back, gets another vessel. But the Goliaths abduct from the grave. More Vipers coming, there's so many Vipers. Blinding Cloud, looking for more, yanks in another science vessel. They're continually produced, but this time around, Terran holding the line. Six Ultralisks on the way, and 2 Spires, which is a big investment for someone who doesn't have that much gas in the bank. A huge play, but is it the right one? We're gonna find out. Science vessels, irradiate over the top. Hydras, just dissipating here. Nine Ultralisks. Well, I have no idea. These are StarCraft 2 Ultras, which means they do attack in an AoE. They have more HP, but also it's so difficult to get them through choke points. Here are the Zerglings. Mass siege tank trying to blast through, but not able to concentrate on any of this. The Ultras are clearing the field. D-Matrix going to protect one of the tanks. More tanks on the high ground. The Ultras starting to thin out, but the tank count first off. And the Irradiate's helping out a lot to melt through the Ultra armor. Down go 2 more. And the Terran army. Adrenal glands just now finished. Oh, such a massive damage upgrade for those Zerglings, especially on top of the tanks. But neglected for probably too long. He's still chasing down Ultras to the high ground. Another one and another one as they keep going. The Ultras are chewing through. Zerg has spent all of his money. 14 more Hydras on the way. All the energy on the Science Vessels has been used. Science Vessels, or Spider Mines, triggering on top of the Terran army as well. The Ultras troubling through, trying to drag out even more mine. They're dropping them down. The tanks are taken out. 9 SCVs with it. Still 90 SCVs, so I think he's going to be okay economically. Terran unable to spend all his money while the Ultras and Hydras and Lings are exhausting all that of Zergs. The Vipers trying to get something done. Good splits. More Spider-Mines gonna burrow. And the Ultras will just simply tank it. Oh my, just dragging every single Spider-Mine in, heading for the production. But Terran, not that much gas. The Irradiates aren't enough, but the Zerg tide is rolling in. And the siege tanks at the natural, the last line of defense. The science vessels are not enough. And Zerg will take it, spending every last ounce of minerals and gas, able to power through. I definitely... there were 8 more Vipers in production at the end of the game. But I keep forgetting. I want to talk about it. How do you play the mod? I'm just going to jump in. In order to play, after you like and subscribe, that's to unlock it. And you can find Discord info, which for balance updates or announcements or to find people to play. But on any server, here you go. And no, we're not done yet, Jimmy. We're doing a bit of a PSA here at the end. But on any server, you can go to whatever your favorite map is. Let's say Steppes of War. New Fighting Spirit is one that they've been using, including any ladder maps. And then simply create with mod. Search SC Evo. It's SC Evo Complete for your Brood War versus SC2. Legacy is just Brood War. And crossover, I think, is like theory crafting, kind of maybe testing out balance changes. But Evo Complete is the one you're looking for. You can go over to it. As you can tell here on NA, not nearly enough players have checked it out yet. If you're looking for games, you'll probably have to go to the Korea server to find it, which you can do. For those who don't know, just pro tip, head on over to the Asia server and you might be able to find some lobbies. Or just test out against... The AI actually uses the Brood War units, by the way. You can play against a very competent AI who will probably beat you if you're not paying close attention. So make sure to check it out. Hopefully you enjoyed. And I wasn't surprised, but I was very happy with how excited people were for the last set of videos. I'm looking forward to some more competitive stuff. Obviously, there's balance concerns, but I'm trying to have fun with it, all right? I love watching and listening to the Brood War units fight against SC2. It's something new, but something recognizable. So hopefully it makes your day a little bit better. Thank you for watching. Once again, let me know what you want to see next. And if you got the means and motivation, be awesome. Check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free for now. Thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.